and welcome to the unknown webcast. I know.
You had to check your notes.
I had to check and see if I was really unknown, and I really am unknown. This is just a bit of a trigger warning for those who believe words are more injurious than sticks and stones. I really am so conservative that I can't turn left even when I'm driving.
I can verify that.
In addition to giving, yes, Ron's ridden with me. In addition to giving trigger warnings to our viewers, Ron Hensel and I both drink coffee for your protection. This week, Brendon Biggs and Iftikhar Yaqoob join us to explain the mission to Pakistan. My name is Don Vino. I'm president of Midwest Christian Outreach Inc. in Wonder Lake, Illinois, which produces the Unknown Webcast. And our senior researcher is Ron Hensel, who will introduce the sponsors of today's webcast. And here is Ronnie Baby.
Greetings from sunny Florida, where the palm tree came out, saw its shadow, and now we have 12 more months of summer. Our sponsor for this edition of the Unknown Webcast is Retouched by an Angel, a new revelation every week. Check local listings for details. Our regular legal disclaimer, our guests on today's webcast insert names here. That would be Iftikhar Yaqoob and Brendon Biggs have no connection whatsoever to any of the satirical content of the Unknown Webcast. You have to refer to this webcast, although we probably will not mention it again.
None. We're not even sure if they have a sense of humor.
No, we're not. This satirical content includes any and all commercials, end credits, puns, smart remarks, or anything else that might fall under the definition of satire. In the meantime, Midwest Christian Outreach Inc. bears no liability for or responsibility for anyone's opinions regarding the satirical content. Notice, the opinions expressed on this webcast are ours and should be yours too. If you enjoy it or if it really annoys you and you want to inflict it on someone else to ensure your continued access, please go to midwestoutreach.org, click the yellow donate button, and contribute as you feel led. And as you do, never fear. This webcast is Y2K compliant. And don't forget to subscribe to us on your favorite video channels. Now, here's the part where we test to see if I really did press the button as I should. Greetings to our special guests. Give a warm round of applause to Iftikhar Yaqoob and Brendon Biggs. Greetings. Yes, they're going wild. They're so happy to see you. So, all right. Welcome. This is going to be an unusual webcast. Tell us all about it, Don.
Well, it will be unusual. I want to maybe give a little background for those who are tuning in on this one. I have to admit, I grew up essentially as an atheist. My father was an atheist. And
you were born at a very young age, right?
Yeah, right next to, and I was in the same hospital as my mother, so that worked out pretty well. My father was an atheist, not a philosophical one. He just didn't really like morality. So I became a Christian. I met a young lady. We dated. She shouldn't have dated me. She did. I'm fortunate. And then she married me. She shouldn't have done that, but I'm fortunate she did. And I became a Christian 3 years later after we had our son. And her grandfather had been praying for me, not only that I would come to the faith, but that I would become a preacher. So I came to the faith. He showed up at the family gathering with commentaries and Bibles and things I would need to be in ministry. And Joy was appreciative, but said, I am really not a pastor's wife. I don't play piano and I don't do flannel graph. And we didn't see ourselves as being as missionaries. In fact, one of my favorite songs of the day, Ron, you may remember, was Please Don't Send Me to Africa. I don't think I've got what it takes. I'm just a man. I'm not a Tarzan. Don't like lions, gorillas, or snakes.
I don't remember that song.
Huh?
I don't remember that song. Who sang it?
Oh, it was a great song. I'll have to look it up and play it for you. And so we, believed we would just try to reach our Jehovah's Witness friends. That's how we kind of got started in the ministry. And then things evolved. Well, by and by, in addition to meeting you and others and founding Midwest Christian Outreach and kind of getting involved with not just Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons and International Churches of Christ, but also false teaching in the church like Bill Gothard, we went to the Parliament of World Religions and said, the Wiccans really need someone to be missionaries to Wicca. They're right here. We don't even have to go to Africa. We could do that right here in good old Chicago. And so that became something else we did. Then a few years ago, I had an email from a pastor in Malawi seeking some guidance and mentorship and materials that he could use to learn more about teaching his people the Bible. So we kind of helped him out. And then about 3 years ago, I had an email, a Facebook message from a young man. And as you know, Ron, we get these kind of emails like every week, several of them. Please send me money for my orphanage or whatever. But this one was, can you teach my people the Bible? Now, this was in Kenya. So we started talking back and forth, and indeed, he had a church of about 70. His father had started, plus 70 children. They had one Bible amongst all of them. So I started mentoring and teaching them once or twice a month online. And now we have them enrolled in a Bible training center online. It's worked out really quite well. And then shortly after that, I had an email from Pakistan. Why would someone email me from Pakistan? It was Iftikhar. And he had this kind of interesting question. Here he said, could you help to mentor me a little bit? I have a church. I need some help. I need to have more to teach them. I want to teach them well. And so we started corresponding, and he joined our Tuesday night study group and other things. And along the way, just recently, he introduced me to yet another person, and I'll let him tell his story first, and then we'll go to Iftikhar. So we all sort of connected on what we're calling a mission to Pakistan, which does have, oddly enough, some Christians. It's largely a Muslim country. They're not overly friendly toward Christianity, so we have to be a little careful about the sorts of things we talk about. And yet, you can be a Christian and function fairly well in Pakistan. So, Brendon, that brings us to you. Why did you get involved with this?
My involvement in Pakistan started 2 or 3 years ago. I used to lead these community groups at a church I was going to on different theology topics, apologetic topics, like how we get the Bible, the doctrine of the Trinity, a little bit of church history. And I did mine online. And I would get people from other parts of the world that were looking at our church, and they would join. So I had people from Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Philippines. Well, one of them I was doing on the Bible, how we get the Bible, the canon process.
Let's back up a second, because you were educated at an institution that a good friend of mine had co-founded, which is what? Are you still there? Might have been a mistake.
What happened?
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. Oh, he's back. Okay.
You're back.
Yeah.
You froze up.
So
Okay.
you were educated at an institution that a good friend of mine who's now with the Lord had co-founded. Where would you educated, and because that kind of leads you into how you got involved with this?
Yeah, I'm actually a retired engineer, so I have degrees in engineering. But I went to Veritas International, which was founded by Norm Geisler, the late Norm Geisler, and that's where I've got some degrees in theology and apologetics. So currently finishing off my doctorate of ministry there.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes. So I would take a lot of the things that I'd learned in Veritas, and I would apply them to the community group. And so there I was teaching on how we get the Bible, and I had a gentleman from Pakistan show up, and he was a youth pastor, and he started talking about his story there in a small town there, Faisalabad. And he and I connected offline, and he wanted some studies, which I started doing for him and his youth group. I would take what we were learning, and he spoke English, but his students were Urdu. So it was very slow going. I would get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and which is like 1 p.m. their time, and I would read a slide, and then he would translate it, and it went really well. And we would start loading some of these studies on a web page. helped sponsor some of their students to go to local college. And we got this idea, maybe we should have other churches in the United States maybe try to adopt a church over there and do the same thing. They can teach them and help sponsor them. Well, along the way, I met Iftikhar through a professor of mine who was teaching a world religion class, and he mentioned that he was talking with Iftikhar for a number of years. So Iftikhar and I had connected, and he gave me his dream about this elementary school, which he'll talk about later. And then, as well as I was listening to another webcast one of my friends was on, and met a couple other Pakistan Christians that were seminary students, and they wanted to launch an apologetics ministry over there. So connected with them, and we started a community group where we do weekly studies in different theological or Bible topics, and just trying to connect everybody and all the different efforts that they're trying to do, and help resource them, and just have learned a ton of stuff.
Okay. Now, Iftikhar, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
So, I met with Sir Brendon. It's been 1 year almost, and 5 years ago I met with Dr. Brian Henson. So when I was trying to apply at Veritas International University in California, so during that time. Even though I had a vision to start my, the Christian school in my area, because there were no Christian school in that area, and even though we had many challenges to go to school, to even though elementary school and high school and after university. So when I was a high school student, so being Christian and minority, so I think most of the majority Christians in Pakistan are hand to mouth. So considering me, so I struggle a lot. Even I did a lot of work with my parents. My parents that time were in labor work, and that was kind of bound labor. So they were in bound labor actually. So even though when I was in first or second or third grade, so I worked with my parents in farmer in during the, we had my father was a farmer, so I went with my father after coming back to school. So I saw many Christian work on the weekend, and they don't, go to school. Their parents just send them on the work. So they were like a child labor. So at that time, I had a vision in my life, and I said that when I'll be, I'll go to a university after graduation. So I will, open a school, Christian school, so we can give a religious and worldly education. So that time I after my high school, so I tried to apply different, looking for different international universities. Even though I met with Dr. David Geisler. So he was a president of Norm Geisler International Ministry. So I met with Dr. David through Dr. Brian. So Dr. Brian was a student at that time at Veritas International University. So later on, he guided me. He said that you have to complete your bachelor degree after high school. So in order to go have a school, you have to get the bachelor. So if you want to open school, you have to do something. And after high school, I uh, 2 years I work in the as a farmer. So I had a no option at that time. So that time, Dr. Brian encouraged me to go to the college. Then I went to over here we have a Punjab University, that is the government university, our state university. So after that, I come to Lahore. So even though I right now I'm in a Foreign Christian College, I recently graduated with the Kam Laude award in business administration.
Okay.
So uh, I didn't know about the Foreign Christian College. So later on, when I come to Lahore, so I came to know that there is a Christian college. So when I heard about the Christian college, always when I was in high school, so during that time, because of the circumstances, so I always preferred missionary schools and colleges. So later on, I joined FC College. I did my bachelor's over here. So when I did my bachelor's at that time, God uh, gave me a person. So like with that, we started a very small beginning, but growing a hope. So we started a Cornerstone Christian School with Mr. Brendon Biggs. So at that time when we just started, so there were like 50 kids. So right now we have 110 kids, and out of 110, 58% are Christians and 52% are Muslims in our school.
Okay, so and we have a web page for that, which looks like
Yes, sir.
this,
We have. Yes, sir.
so
Yes.
people can see that. Um, I think we got everything there. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, Cornerstone Christian School, Cornerstone Christian Church, and how many students do you have there currently?
Right now we have 110, and we are expecting more students. And part of the reason is like uh, we can't go right now we have two minivans, and so we have chairs and everything. So like a best school in our area, I believe what we are doing, and the curriculum that we have, um, uh, when we just talk about the belief, so we have a Bible study class. So we have Journey to My Faith that we have for the elementary students. That book we use for that.
Okay, so you do have Bible study, which talks about your beliefs, but you also have Muslim students, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's no discrimination there. You're not saying you have to believe this or anything.
Right. So for them, we have a Islamic study class.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad. So generally, you're allowed to operate okay in the country without much in the way of assault on the part of citizens.
Well, there are a lot of challenges, but I think our government is like taking a lot of initiative, to uplift the underprivileged people, like uh, mostly the Christians. Even I can say.
Okay.
Is are Christians required to pay the special tax, the jizya, in Pakistan?
No, sir. There is no such that like that act. We don't have.
Okay.
All right. One of the things that Brendon has put together, I want to show this so people can see it. And there are links in the description if you want to go and look at these further to see what they are. But he has that's not the one I want. I almost sent out a link for everyone to join us live. That's not what I want to do. Here we go. So this is a web page that tells you what they're doing. Training Pakistan Christians. Okay, Pakistan Christian Education Apologetics Training. They have articles, welcome training material, and if you would like to support it, they have a link here to like a GoFundMe page. So check it out, look it over. Some is in English and some is in. Is that in Urdu?
Yeah, that's in Urdu. We're a 501c3 now too, so that there's for people in the United States.
Right. So gives you the mission, the ministries, their brochure, what the gospel apologia, which we also have that here. Gospel apologia. Donate through 501c3 ministry, tells you what they're doing there. So there's a lot of good information online if you want to take the time to check it out.
Yeah, as Iftikhar was saying with the Cornerstone School, those brick kiln slaves, there's groups of people out there that their kids are lifelong slaves trying to pay off debt. So those little buses that he was talking about, I think they're three-wheelers. We got a couple of those. They go around and pick them up and take them back to the school. But he's doing such a great job there that they are getting a lot of these other villages that want to come there. And we're, getting at capacity, and we don't have, enough to go around and pick up everybody. So there's lots of opportunity to start other schools using the same template there.
I've had a good experience. I want to be a little careful how I talk about this, but Iftikhar has facilitated some discussion between he and I and a Muslim. It was very, very cordial. They were really interested in why I believe what I believe. Not that they were persuaded one way or another, but they didn't really understand why we believe the Bible, why we believe Jesus is who he claimed to be. And he was really open to discussion. But again, it meant we had to listen to him so we know what are the questions you're asking. And then I could ask him questions about, okay, why are you what you are? It's very engaging. I really was blessed to be part of that discussion. So there are opportunities to actually talk with those of another faith and share what you really believe without fear of reprisal, right? Iftikhar?
Yeah.
Somebody?
Well, so you can share what your faith, but what happens if someone converts in Pakistan? A Muslim converts to Christianity.
So, even though in Pakistan, so people have a freedom. So a lot of people have their own choice, so they can go for what they believe. And I think right now, for a lot of things we can't talk about. And
Okay. If I ask anything that is off limits, just let me know.
I can tell you that the kind of the evangelistic arm that we have in the organization, the Gospel Apologia, that's the seminary students, we'll go into a poor community and we'll do these medical camps where what we do is we bring in food to the community. It's open to everybody, so you get a couple hundred people. We'll feed them. We'll do a wellness check, so they're doctors and nurses. They'll check them out. There's medicine there. We'll hand out Bibles if they want one, audio Bibles if they can't read. And then we'll talk about the gospel. So it's for them, if they are curious, they can come and we can talk with them. There's no pressure. We answer questions. But the focus that we've been doing is making sure that the Christians over there know why they're Christian and have a good, solid theological foundation. They have some of the same problems that we do, where you get groups like the Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Word Faith, Prosperity Gospel. They have all that over there. And there's many different people that say they're Christians, but they don't have good, solid understanding. So we want to make sure that the Christians over there know why they're Christians and have a good, solid foundation. So that's the arm that makes sure they're secure, so that when we do get people that are curious, whether it be Hindus or Muslims, we can answer their questions. And then it's up to them. If there's family pressures about converting, we can't do anything about that, but we can present the gospel and let God do what he's going to do with them.
Right. And that really is important. We, as you know, I mean, you're in America like we are. There are a lot of those, even in evangelical churches, that I would look at as more cultural Christians. They may understand the gospel to some degree, but statistically, we're finding only about 6% of evangelicals have a biblical worldview. 94% are syncretistic in their views, which is sort of a mishmash of Christianity and other beliefs, New Age, Wicca, whatever. So what you're kind of doing is engaging in a culture that already has a predominant other belief, Islam, but you're focusing in your energies on training Christians in how to understand and defend what they believe in the Christian faith.
Yeah. So they don't, they have different problems than we have. There isn't a lot of atheism because everybody believes in some kind of God over there. So we just wanted to understand the God of the Bible. So we approach it. A lot of those different organizations have the same challenges. Is the Bible reliable? The doctrine of the Trinity, incarnation. So that's what we focus on that. So they really understand how to answer those types of questions when they get asked. And what we do is we'll come alongside of a church, find out what they're teaching, and if there's gaps, then we can provide them with the training to get them in line and kind of designate them as a good church. So if we do get people that do convert to Christianity, we have a place to put them for discipleship. And then we do the ongoing training too if they want. All of our stuff is free. Anything that I do with PowerPoint and training, we put it on the website. They can use it, or we can have one of the seminary students go over there and teach it to them in their own language, teach them how to preach, whatever. And then we ask them to join our little community groups. We meet on Tuesday mornings, and we study different things. They can ask questions. We'll research it for them.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really important. And one of the things that you just said sparked something else in my mind that I found interesting. Is you don't have to make a defense that God exists. Everyone there already believes in that. In Kenya, for example, that's also the case. Or in South Africa, I have a friend who's a missionary to the Zulus. And it's the same thing. They already believe in God. They even have a respect for the Bible. They don't understand it. And they are worshiping false beings, let's say. But because they already have a respect for the Bible, you can start with the Bible to make a case for the Christian faith. And they're pretty open to that. Do you find that to be true also in Pakistan?
I can tell you that with from what I know there, the questions are very focused that they ask, and it's the same ones as Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. That they always ask the same thing. They think the Bible's been corrupted, so we got to show them how it's reliable. They don't understand the Trinity. They think it's polytheism or something, so we got to explain that to them. And it's very first century. If you think about the early church in the Roman Empire, where they're going out in this hostile environment and people have their own beliefs and things like that. You got to transport you back in time, and it's just like that. How do Christians attract people? And with Iftikhar, with his school there, we're showing the love of Christianity, where maybe there wasn't the opportunities like they have here in the United States. We wouldn't even think about having brick kiln slaves that don't get educated. I mean, we educate all our kids. But over there, there's gaps, and Christians come alongside these people and say, we can provide you with education. We can provide you with food. We can show you, the God of the Bible. So we're meeting their physical and spiritual needs over there where there's a gap in that. And so we show Christianity by just the love and how we act as a people group over there, and show that we're a benefit to the country and the community.
Well, in the U.S., we have a problem with, as you pointed out, Jehovah's Witnesses. In fact, at one point, the Watchtower president, Judge Rutherford, declared the office of the Holy Spirit was defunct, and they had angels dropping off messages to Brooklyn for him to transmit to everybody else. And of course, we have Mormonism that came out of visitations from angels that gave them kind of a new gospel and new material Now we have a sponsor that kind of talks about that sort of thing.
Yes, we do. And they have stories for you to consider. Cynthia's life is in crisis. She doesn't know if she can believe she's a sinner. How will she break the news to her parole officer? Meanwhile, Jacob is still in shock. His pastor laughed when he suggested he might be the reincarnation of Elvis. Will he ever find a church that supports his spiritual views? Charity is engaged to Brad, who is already married to Betsy. That won't be a problem in Brad's and Betsy's polygamous cult, but Charity wonders how will all this work out in the afterlife? All these people have one thing in common. They're all looking for a gospel that's been retouched by an angel. If your gospel bothers you, have it retouched with a new revelation every week, retouched by an angel. Consult local listings for details. Yes, you want to check that out. So there you go.
There you
So
go.
yeah, we this is kind of like a sequel to the an older television program we had called Touched by an Angel. So yeah, Brendan's aware. I never actually watched it, but you know.
I didn't either. I wasn't all that interested,
Yeah.
But you know, it was influential. A lot of people thought it was actually Christian. I mean, it wasn't really.
Yeah.
So, okay. So tell me then. You say the school they have like three wheelers that they go around and pick up people in. How does the operation of the school work?
So uh, we ha- we have 4 to 5 villages. Near there are like Christians also lives in that areas in those villages. So for brick kilns, so we have, there are 6 to 7 brick kilns in that area, and we have two mini buses, 3 vehicles, vans. So we have 2 drivers and we have 2 minivans. So all the you know every morning they just go to pick the brick kiln students, and they just get the back to the school, and then we just educate. And 5 hours like we have them in our school, and then we just drop back to their brick kiln. They have their homes in the brick kiln. So also there are other Muslim students we got in other villages. So even though there are a lot of people are they are just want to come to our school, but we don't have the much resources, and we don't have to go to reach them uh, with the limited resources. So we are giving the better education. So even yesterday there were 2 families come to our school, and they said that, hey sir, I have seen your story. So when you were like in the high school, so even you worked with your father as a farmer, so you get education, and right now you are here, you a very successful story. So we bring our kids in your school, and we come with this hope that one day our kids would be at your place. So that was like so even that they mentioned that we can't afford the fee of like this school, that is like a little bit. So and mostly 90%, like 80%, the students, they can't pay their fee, even though we are giving them a pick and drop. So we hire 6 teachers, and three supporting staff, and 2 drivers.
Okay. Um, so you have a budget which is online. Is that correct?
Which is, sir?
Do you have a budget that's online so people can look at and say, what is it that you need to have? How much are
Yes,
you looking to raise?
yes, exactly, yes.
And
Hmm.
that is that on the Gospel Apologia page?
That's
Yes, that is
Cornerstone School.
Pardon?
website.
the Cornerstone School. All of them will have a little, what we're trying to raise money for, but that's for the Cornerstone School.
Okay. So let me bring that up here again. There we go. Nope, nope. There we go. Screen share. And again, all of this, the links are in the description. And so you can donate through the 501c3, which looks like that. And let's go back here. Donate, go fund. Christian School. Is there our staff? Okay, here's that. Tells you
when you click on donate, it'll take you back to the main page there, and partway down where we talk about the different ministries, you'll see Cornerstone School, and it'll say
donate, go fund here.
Let's see, I'm not sure which one are you on here. Yeah, I would just hit the.
There you go.
There's part of it there, and then the other one, the 501c3, it'll have a list of different things that we're looking to fund: tuition support, teacher salaries, school resources, books, supplies, all that.
Okay. So that's what you got. Organizer is Brendon Biggs. That's you. Tells you a little bit about what you're doing here and how that works. So you have information. It's online. Check it out. Pray for them. At the very least, pray for them. Okay. Brendon, what's your big dream right now on this?
I would love to have churches in the United States that to get involved in Pakistan. I think churches do wonderful missionary work all around the world, Mexico, India, Africa. And there's a certain model that the churches have where they can get teenagers together and go on a mission trip. Pakistan isn't like that. So a lot of churches, I think, are afraid to touch that part of the world. They don't understand it. They don't know what to do with it. But there's such a great need in the Muslim world, billion people that are not being reached. So how do they get involved? This is really easy to get involved with. Is they can adopt a church. You heard Adopt a Road out here where a business picks up a section of litter from the freeway. Well, you can you can adopt a church over there and support them in some way. You can send some kids to college over there. It only costs like $300 or $400. They can go to a local trade school. A little bit of money goes a long way in Pakistan. So they can connect with a church, find out what their needs are, whether it's physical needs like food and basic, the basic humanitarian aid, or get them educated. If the church has training programs on how to preach and how to teach, and they can connect with them and provide those things are free. They can just meet with them once a week. What we do at our organizations, and anybody can really do that, is you just start training them, set up community groups with them over there. There's a lot of people that do speak English, and so they can, you don't have to do the slow route where you're saying one thing and they translate. You can preach. Churches that have staff that are coming up the ranks, but maybe they're not ready for the main stage, but the young pastors want to try out a message, you can connect with a group over there and they'll have you preach a sermon. They love Americans. So you can try that out and get, kind of with training wheels, you can try out preaching for the first time. They go out to the brick kiln areas where you have a lot of Hindus and stuff, and you can preach a sermon in front of them, just a simple gospel message. It's amazing. And the response that you get from the people over there. So there's really easy ways to connect that are safe and easy to do, and we can help you do that. Connect with people over there. They're hungry for the gospel. They're hungry for the United States to get involved. Don't be afraid of it, and just we can help educate them on their particular context that you have to be aware of and get involved. And then with the school here, Iftikhar School, and there's other schools in the area too, that Christian schools, they need help because they're trying to reach those very, very poor kids that aren't going to come with money. So a little bit of money that you give can pay salaries and get these little buses that can pick them up, and school supplies, things like uniforms. They have to wear uniforms over there. So any little bit, it just goes a long way over there, and the kids just it changes their lives. They're on this kind of lower caste, and it just elevates them. Any kind of education, can elevate them. and then making sure that we keep out those wolves, those cult groups from coming in. So
Right.
when they show up, because when they show up, a lot of them bring money. So they'll say, "Hey, we can, if you come to our church, we'll pay for your kids' education and do all this stuff." They kind of bribe them. We don't want that. We want them not to go with them for the money. We want them to go with them for the truth. So we need to say, no, it's, here's the proper teaching, and to resist those groups.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, that is. So the point I think you're making is an important one. You would welcome a church to do like a short-term mission to come and help the churches there, but you can perhaps do a lot more right from here through these other means and methods.
Yeah.
Right. So what if somebody wanted to say, teach a class on math for the school? Could they do that?
Iftikhar, what do you think?
What, sir?
Could you have someone here from the USA teach a course on math for the students, or would they have to know Urdu?
So, okay. So, if anyone wants to teach online,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, that would be perfect also. And I think that is that the main problem is the time zone, and we have different, the time zone. So if we can get, time, or like if anyone wants to teach online, so that would be perfect, because for in future we want to have a, digital classroom. We want to have a, the screen in, so most of the student who didn't understand what the teacher is like the teaching, so they can go to the, YouTube or some like on internet. They can watch the online lecture and online, have a research and everything. So even me and Sir Brendon talked with director of Friends of Foreman. So we want to get affiliation with the university, Foreman Christian College University. So when our kids graduate from this school, so we'll send them to the FC College, and also we have a Christian university, that is Canadian College University. So for the female, we have a Canadian College, that is also a missionary university, and for the FC is for colleges for the boys, and is also a co-education university, like men and women at the university level, they can join.
So he's teaching them English. So he's teaching his kids English as well, which is a vital skill over there.
Yes.
And we're getting them all teed up, and then if there's scholarships available through Foreman Christian, so that is a really good setup there to get them educated and then have some scholarships waiting for them.
Exactly. And our main focus is like to have an English medium, because we can see in future if anyone wants to have a higher degree or in bachelor, so it's a medium of instruction is like the English. So even though if anyone wants to go to other countries, so we have to give a English proficiency test. So that's why we have a focus on medium of English.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a similar thing in Kenya. In fact, in Kenya, if we want to send Bibles to the teenagers, we would have to send them in English, because it's mandatory in Kenya that all of the reading they do, kind of extracurricular, is in English, because they want their people to be able to conduct business, and English is sort of the international business language right now. So it sounds like it's a similar thing in Pakistan right now.
Right.
Cool. Well, I know we're kind of a little early here. Is there anything else we want to add? Any directions you want to go with this before we end today?
I just encourage anybody that's watching, reach out to us. We've got our email on the website if you want to get involved. If you have a certain skill that there's a lot of people that are in churches that are the intellectual type. They love apologetics, and maybe their church isn't supporting them to teach classes, we'd love to, partner with you. You can teach people over there. They love them when Americans teach them. We'll set you up there, or if you want to try preaching or doing a gospel message, we can connect you with churches. So however you want to get involved, just reach out to us, and if we don't do it, we'll try to find someone that can you can bless with your expertise.
That's really an excellent idea. So someone who's learning to preach, as you pointed out, is more than welcome to come in and practice online, and I know Iftikhar, for example, he's been pretty faithful. We have a Tuesday night, for us it's Tuesday night study group, and for him, because it's 8 o'clock Tuesday night for us, it's 6 a.m. for him, and he's up most every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. to join in our Tuesday night at 8 o'clock group. So it works in the reverse, and it is not uncommon for him to text to WhatsApp me sometime during the day to say, "Can we talk?" And so we both look and see what time it is. Okay, we can talk in 30 minutes or whatever, which would be more a better time for him and I both. So we're both kind of awake when we're talking. That's always a good thing. But pretty available. So I think it's an exciting opportunity. And I know, as you point out, churches are really like to help smaller churches and missions in other countries. I know for me, I'm a little leery about going to Pakistan. I am very American, and that could get me in serious trouble in Pakistan. So,
when you show up with your cowboy hat and your
I do, my fringe jacket, my cowboy hat.
and then when you get there, you ask, "Can you show me the place where Osama bin Laden was when they got him?"
Yeah, I don't like that. I was a church brought me to Singapore. I had the best time in Singapore with the pastors over there.
Iftikhar appreciates our sense of humor here, I think.
Yeah. So I was in Singapore, and they took me to very large department store kind of place, and everything there is vertical. They don't really spread out too much.
Well, they don't have much real estate there.
They don't have much real estate, right? So I got in an elevator, and I had, of course, my fringe jacket, my cowboy hat, and everyone's kind of facing forward. And so I did what I like to do. I turned around and said, "I'll tell you why I called you together." And
I suppose you're wondering why I called this meeting.
Yes, and we had a little bit of a discussion, and after the doors opened and everyone left, we had kind of a little fun time. The pastors called me aside and said, "You're really not supposed to do that. It's illegal to evangelize here. You could be in big trouble." And I said, "Well,
Singapore?"
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Because Singapore is kind of young. They started in 1964. They became official, and they had a lot of religious wars.
Oh, okay.
And so you are free to believe what you want to believe and to worship as you want to worship. Christianity's fine, Islam's fine, but you are not free to evangelize on the street. So that's
you're lucky to be here, is what you're saying, Dot. You're lucky.
Well, I said, well, they just figured he's a dumb American, which is kind of true. So I got away with it. But I can't imagine what might happen if I go to Pakistan and pull the same stunt.
Well, just don't deface any of their automobiles. You saw what happened when that was back in the 90s, wasn't it? They caned the guy the American.
Yeah,
I was rooting for the caned guy. I thought,
What, the one doing the caning or the one getting caned?
I can tell you our team over there in Lahore, the seminary students, they do get some Americans, some authors and stuff that go over there and do lectures. They'll take you around, show you a good time. I know Bill Scott from Brasher Christie was there last year, and they're trying to get it over there. But and Iftikhar, he met with them and took them around. So they'll keep you safe and tell you what to do and what not to do.
Well, then see, that's what I would need. I would need some tip-offs on
The
don't
do's and
say
don'ts.
this, don't do
Yeah,
that,
the do's and don'ts.
yeah, a,
So,
a little bit of because really, and it's like when I go to Pagonicon, one of the things that we have to be careful about is we're going to their home. It's their conference, and so we have to give them respect, even though we disagree with them. That would be the same thing going to Pakistan. You're going to their home. You have to be respectful of their traditions. Uh, and so sometimes that's a little hard because Americans are not always bright about cultural differences.
yeah, there have been books about that, novels and such, talking about that tried to sensitize us as tourists. But I think I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going. I'm going overseas for the first time in April, first time ever. I'll be in Greece and Turkey,
Wow.
and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, and listen to the tour guide.
With Dr. House?
No, we have a gentleman from, I think he used to work at Moody, and he has, I don't know if he still does or not, Brian O'Neill. He arranges tours. This is for the 7 Churches of Asia tour. Historical Footsteps, I think, is the name of his organization. So, yeah, I just got my first passport. Bought my first international plane tickets, and it's like, oh, is this for real? Okay, let's.
You should let Iftikhar know when you're going to be there and where, because who knows, he might pop up. He likes saying.
That might scare me a little bit.
Nah, he wanted when Wayne House was doing that tour recently. He wanted to go catch him, but it was too late to make the arrangements.
It was late. Yeah, Turkey is my neighbor country, so I can go.
So, yeah, I'm trying to just behave myself. I now that I know what Don did, I'll try not to do that. Just listen to the stories Don tells and do the opposite, right, Don?
Well, I have more fun. You two haven't really seen me in my garb, but it's part of my evangelism outfit. And even when I was in Israel, it was kind of fun because in Israel, almost all the tourists want to get pictures of themselves with the soldiers, holding their machine guns and whatever. So I went and I had my fringe jacket, my cowboy hat and stuff, and we stopped at a park just to take a little bit of a break, and there were a bunch of soldiers there. And when I got off the bus, all of them came running over to me. They wanted pictures with me, like I was Clint Eastwood or something. It was really quite fun. So, it gives me opportunities to talk to a lot of people because they're interested in Western stuff. So, but I do have to be careful about the kinds of things I do because I could get myself in deep water, and that's not a good thing. So,
Yeah, Veritas International has a program now too. It's a master's in apologetic and polemics to Islam. It's run by Jay Smith and some other scholars. But we have people all over the world that attend these classes, and they'll discuss what we can and can't use, based on what we're learning, what works in Singapore and Pakistan. We have people from Pakistan and Africa, all over the world.
Right. That's important stuff. So, all right. So, if anyone wants to contact you, Brendon, I don't know if I put an email in for you or not. Do you want to give them an email?
Sure. Just Brendon Biggs, all one word, @gmail.com.
Okay. Iftikhar, do you want anyone to be able to contact you?
Yes, sir. My email is on the website. So
it's on the website. So go to the website and you can contact them there.
All right.
yes.
All right. Ron, would you care to?
This is kind of early, isn't it, Don?
It is about 5 minutes early, but I don't want to stretch too much unless we have something really important to talk about.
Okay, so let's give credit to whom credit is due. Our resident cult leader profiler is Neil before me. Our wardrobe manager is See How It Fits You. Culinary services are provided by Chef Ham and Cheese. Our tinfoil hat provisioner is Just in Case. Jehovah's Witnesses coverage comes from Armageddon and The Opposer. Our Mormon Archives manager is Polygamous. Our Liberal Denominations Bureau Chief is Lucy Goosey. Our transgender issues coverage comes from Ben-Hur. Special correspondent for cults based on the Hindenburg disaster and flying turkeys, Ode to Humanity. Our fact-checking supervisor is Your Leg Pulling. Technical assistance comes through Murky Research. Our legal advisors are at the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Our grievance resolution director is Giovanna Pisami. Our director of privacy assurance is Wiretapping. And original idea sourcing comes from Drew A. Blank. The Unknown Webcast is a production of Midwest Christian Outreach, Inc. in cooperation with Emergency Manicure Productions, both of whom are solely responsible for this content, although you will never be able to prove that in a court of law.
Never happened.
It says we're having trouble with streaming to Facebook or something.
Yeah, it just popped up, so I think we got most of it in, but everyone else, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Which is pre-recorded.
Which is pre-recorded, but it's going to be fun anyway.
So don't try to storm the studio. We won't.
No, don't. Okay. No. Well, I'll be in the studio because I'm still going to be answering questions.
Oh, you shouldn't have said anything. Okay.
Yeah. So. All right. Blessings all.
Thank you so much.